I'm Scott Clark.
And I'm Rick Entrop.
And we are coming to you from the coffee shop. It's September 1st, and we are at the Hangar Cafe in Georgetown, the Georgetown neighborhood of Seattle, of course. And we just had a lovely breakfast of crepes, except for Scott, who had a waffle.
Yeah, I was one of the ones that didn't belong here.
But I think Rick wins. I didn't try Kanita's jam crepes. She's mashing them up in the corner.
Yeah,
but
she still has the braces in, so she has to pre-chew her food.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
I didn't ask because I didn't know. But
just carry around a little pocket blender.
Yeah,
one of those slap chops.
Yeah.
You know those things.
There you go, nice.
You know they're like round, and you hit the top, and it chops nuts.
You don't always have a power cord to plug in, do you?
But Rick got the Hanger, which is a savory crepe.
Oh,
what did it have in it?
It had ham, it had peppers, it had like this green sauce and white sauce. It was kind of like a Greek omelet sandwich breakfasty thing, but it's just amazing. It's
really good.
It's like a Franken crepe.
Yeah, something like that. It had spinach in it, so it was kind of saladish, and I don't know, it was a really neat, definitely had a Greek feel to it.
Yeah,
awesome.
Totally. And I had a spiced pear, which was really tasty, but it's like sweet, like honey and almonds. But I don't know. I think if I came back, I'd go with the Hanger because that was like really like
it depends,
easy breakfast.
It looked like that a plethora of how you can go sweet or savory with breakfast. If I'd try to see what the sweet end kind of tastes like.
That's always my struggle. Like it's the going to like Denny's or IHOP or Sherry's conundrum, which is pancakes or hash browns is how I conceptualize it, because the hash brown meals usually are the savory and the pancake meals are usually the sweet.
Right.
And sometimes you can get like a sausage with your pancakes,
but
very rarely do you get both hash browns and pancakes. And I always have a struggle where I sit there and go like,
that's a lot of starch too, man.
I know, but they both sound good in the moment.
Yeah.
And I've done the pancakes with a side of hash browns, not the same.
That's an easy choice for me. I'm not a pancake eater, so
Really? Because you got the banana waffle.
Waffles are not
which
pancakes.
Which to me falls in the pancake category.
Yeah, it's different. It's way different.
Sweet.
There's a little more cooked.
Yeah, it's
surface area.
Yeah,
it's true. Literally, that is the difference.
It's weird. I have a weird palate because pancakes to me are they're just a little bit too thick.
Yeah, waffles are, if you don't like the doughy, cakey.
But to me, waffles fall into the pancake category because of the sweet.
Right.
They have the same kinds of toppings.
Right.
Dessert style
you
breakfast.
You either get a waffle or a like the Grand Slam special at Denny's. You know, the eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns.
Yeah.
And to me, if you could but yours kind of did a good melding.
It was wonderful.
Of
and the hash browns were amazing. Now, I don't usually like the country style. I like the shredded, but these had awesome flavor. They really went well with the. Yeah, and the other thing with hash browns is that if you can eat them without ketchup, they're good.
Right.
Which
that means
I had no desire to grab the ketchup.
They look good.
Cool.
I use the same litmus test with chicken fried steak, which if I go to a new place, I always have to try their chicken fried steak.
Chicken fried steak.
That's how you pronounce it.
Chicken fried steak.
But the whole thing is if you can eat it with just a fork and not crave ketchup with it, you're good to go.
Dude, I have a place for you in Sumner. It's called the Buttered Biscuit.
Nice.
I
have to go.
Buttered Biscuit.
Yeah, and
that's an awesome
the
name.
chicken fried steak comes in two sizes: grandpa's size and grandma's size. So, and literally, I mean, it's as big as my foot. The chicken fried steak, but you don't need a knife. You cut it with a fork. They soak it in buttermilk. It's all tender.
Crazy.
Oh my.
Cool.
Man, you can. And if you get the grandpa size, well, I don't know about how much you can pack away, but I couldn't.
Lately, quite a bit.
I couldn't finish it.
Oh, really?
I had to pack most of it home.
Cool.
And because it also not only does it come, chicken fried steak the size of my foot, it also comes with scrambled eggs. That has bacon.
You got an over medium. You got to have that yolk with it though.
I love yolky eggs.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a cheesy fried.
Okay, interesting.
Scramble,
Sure.
And it comes with that, which is also it takes up just as much space on the plate.
Wow.
And the country style hash browns, but they're medallions. They're medallions,
Okay.
and they also have bacon. So everything has bacon in it, and it comes with sausage gravy all over the.
I feel like you would have a heart attack immediately if you ate that.
And a mini loaf of cornbread, which.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we should all go sort of and share one, is what you're saying.
I think the calories is like 45 billion or something like that.
God.
Something like that.
It's okay.
It's like a year's worth of calories.
That's crazy.
Nice.
And it's a little
feed
tiny,
you for a week.
Yeah. And if you eat in a basement of a building. It's like you walk down into a basement. It's really cool. And they have live entertainment usually on Friday nights.
Right on. Yeah. You were saying you judge chicken fried steak on whether you want ketchup. I judge hot dogs on that.
Oh, cool.
It's not a good hot dog if you have to cover it and stuff. Right. Nothing, bun and dog. That's it.
Oh, wow.
And if that's good, then it's a good hot dog.
Yeah.
That's how I conceptualize my hot dogs.
Okay. Have you had Nathan's? Do you like the Nathan's?
I like the Nathan's, yeah.
Okay. We're from Chicago.
Yeah, totally. So. When I go to Nathan's, though, I tend to get a Philly cheesesteak. Because Nathan's has great Philly cheesesteaks.
Interesting.
But they do
had
have
Nathan's
good hot
hot
dogs.
But I've never been to Chicago. So
me neither.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. They sponsor the eating contest every year, don't they?
Yeah, totally.
Where the Japanese take it home most of the time.
Famous. Did you guys know? Okay, this is completely random. Have you heard of panko breadcrumbs?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, why do they call them panko? And so I looked it up yesterday.
Japanese,
they are Japanese.
Yes.
The reason they're different than other breadcrumbs is that Japanese people cook the bread with electric current. They electrocute dough instead of baking it, which is why the panko breadcrumbs are like they don't absorb as much oil as the other bread.
And they're really light too, and they stay crispy.
Isn't that crazy? So basically, they roll out dough, zap it with electricity, crack it up, and that's panko breadcrumbs.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like they are
bread
so
brittle.
magic. Like they're like, what if we electrocuted bread?
I use them for meatloaf a lot.
They're good on everything. Totally. Thank you.
You leave it to the Japanese to think of a way to cook bread. You know.
It's true.
Yeah. High resolution dough.
They just I feel like the Japanese culture has so many things that are so fascinating to me that I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, this is totally interesting and different. Like, they just, have so many things in their culture that are so, just unusual to me that I'm fascinated by in general.
Yeah. I think it's the same with pretty much any culture that you're not really, it's not in your normal fishbowl. You can go to the South and go.
But I feel like Japanese people go out of their way to try different stuff, to do stuff like electrocuting breadcrumbs. Like, why would you even try that? But they're like, hey, let's do it. That seems cool. And I appreciate that about them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For a while I was trying to learn Japanese using the Rosetta Stone Japanese thing. Only the problem was I was learning Japanese. It's a really good way of learning a language. Yeah. But I was mostly just doing an impression of the voice that's on it. Which is an older, really angry sounding Japanese man. And so I would be like, I was doing this really weird voice, and then I was like, I feel like if I went to Japan, people would be like, why is that person talking like
why is Pat Morita here?
And it was because that's what the guy sounded like, and so I would be, because it has a voice recognition thing, so if you speak, it tells you if you're doing it right. And so I was just trying to sound exactly like the guy, and I was like, my neighbors must think I'm completely nuts, because I was just and I'd do it really loud.
Oh, nice.
So screaming at my computer in my apartment, and I was like, I need to stop doing that.
That's awesome.
Now I know how to say things
actually I had a friend.
There's a blue helicopter and weird stuff. They teach you really weird, stuff that I don't know why they start with one of the first words you learn is airplane. I don't know why.
You gotta start somewhere. It starts with A.
Yeah, and you learn colors and numbers and man and woman, and they have 100 names for men and women. We do too, lady, girl, old lady, Dame, auntie,
broad.
So you're learning all these different names for men and women, but based on their age and stuff. But there's a lot of cultural context. So some of the pictures. And you have to, it'll say something to you, and then you have to figure out what they're saying. I think I'm not getting some of the cultural context because I would always think, oh, for sure this is the right one, and then they're like, nope. Like, that word means super old lady, not sort of old lady. I'm
wow.
Like, oh, it's very precise. Anyway, it was
so
really
they have
fun.
like degrees of evaluation within their
yeah, it was like just
extremes or whatever.
If a woman is a certain age, you wouldn't use one word for her, you'd use another word for her. And yeah, it was just interesting.
Why Japanese? Just because?
Because I don't know, it just seemed cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool language. I don't know, there's parts of it that are easier to learn than like a Romance language, and I wanted to get as far away, because it took a lot of French, and I really stunk at it.
Right.
So I wanted to get kind of as far away from that as I could, because like I tried learning a little bit of Spanish, and it was too close to French in some ways that I'd get really confused. And so I was like, Japanese, that sounds good.
Well, I had a friend who served a mission in Japan, and she came back, and I had this CD that was in Japanese, and she was reading it to me, and it was a very sensual language. I was kind of getting a little turned on by it. So I don't know, when you said you would talk like, oh, I was like, I think the females. No, it was really weird. I mean, but it's a very sensual language.
Yeah, totally.
With the impression I got, I'm very limited.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
it's just
beautiful.
language, but maybe it's just her
Might have been. I don't know.
You're like,
I think it was a Jane's Addiction CD.
Weird.
Yeah, it was all in Japanese, and she was reading it to me.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, so hey, Scott, we wanted to get an update on what's going on with you.
Well, okay, first of all, are you growing the beard out, or is that just laziness?
No, I ran out of razors.
Okay.
And basically haven't had the funds to go buy new ones, because they're just expensive. Razors are spendy.
And you hear that Dollar Shave Club?
I'm going to join that.
Nice. I love the commercials.
I do too. They're really funny.
I heard it on the Adam Carolla show the first time, and it's true. I get 3 razors for $17, pretty much. I'm like, wow. I mean, the amount of, because my hair doesn't grow very fast. It's just
How long has it been since you shaved right now?
About a week.
Oh, okay.
So it's not very.
I have no point of reference for men's facial hair, so you got a pretty significant growth going. It'll thicken in, it'll fill in, but it won't get long and luscious like Rick's. It just
long and luscious. This is curly and
it's long.
It's pretty.
It's pretty long.
It's full.
Well, this is coming up on a year's growth. It started when I started UPS about a year ago.
Wow. But you don't trim it though, right?
I trim the sides. The front's pretty much been, it's like I want the front to be as long as possible, and then fade it as well as possible. So
right on.
It pretty much, it'll hug my face. It'll get thicker, but it won't. I look like the 70s G.I. Joe doll.
Right on.
The kicker for me has been don't shave under the chin. Because I always fall into that trap where I want that chin line, but it hinders the growth of it. If you want it to really look big and full, you got to keep that chin hair.
It's driving me. It's driving me insane.
Yeah.
It's a great way to make me go, because it just itches. It itches. It's like itchy. Yeah. So that's why I got the growth going on.
I think the razors are in cahoots with the color printer cartridge folks.
Yes.
It's a big conspiracy to milk every last little dime from us anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I agree. It's like razors, color printers,
gas.
Gas. There's just a few things
now
where
milk
it's like
is kind of getting up there again.
How much is milk now? We haven't bought milk in ever.
$3
yeah,
a gallon.
We've a couple years ago switched to organic milk, so we pay like twice. It's one super unleaded,
It is, for sure.
But it tastes much better, especially for cooking and especially for cereal.
Right.
So it's like I drink it less, but cook with it more and have more cereal.
Which is probably good for you.
I heard something about raw milk, not non-homogenized milk. It's much
I have
more,
a friend who
they're
will
making it illegal to sell too.
proselytize to you about raw milk.
Because they don't want the competition, I think. But.
Well, ostensibly their reasoning is disease prevention on a mass scale, but I have a friend who's a raw milk enthusiast, and he has been for a really long time.
Right.
He lives in New York, and he gets it through a co-op or something, and he will just sit down and be like, you never had milk unless you had raw milk. It's amazing. And like he like gets really passionate and we'll start getting into the science of it and stuff. And I'm just like, you're funny. But yeah, but I actually
literally put a cow's udder in your mouth.
That's where I think it just becomes weird to me. It's just you're milking another animal.
I know you said that.
Okay, so you've
just really
I'm okay
weird.
with
You
it.
were breastfed as a child, right? Well, there's a whole new theory there.
Yeah, I'm cool with milk. I love it. I have no weirdness about it.
No.
I think we eat eggs too, and eggs are.
Oh, yeah.
And like
It's calories. There's,
Yeah.
your body knows what to do with it.
I'm not too worried about it. But anyway, so Scott, tell us about what's going on with
I've
you.
seen the doctor since.
Nice.
He's keeping me on light duty,
Okay.
which is, in its own right is okay because it keeps me my insurance going.
Totally.
I'm still looking for other avenues, though. We've came to like minds in my family that I'm no longer going to do a labor type job because it's getting to the age right now where things just don't heal like they used to.
You got to think about your long-term health,
So plus, being thrown boxes really isn't creative. It's not.
True.
You can try to make it creative, but it's not.
At best, you can use it as a Zen activity to let your mind go, but you can.
Were you
going to say something?
Well, sure. I don't want to, derail your train here. The one thing I like about monotonous labor, though, like doing dishes or like I've worked for several screen shops and sometimes I'd go clean screens or just doing that sort of stuff is it allows your mind. It's almost like a meditation. It's a process of, whereas like if I'm doing like setting up proofs or handling artwork or trying to figure out jobs, my brain is focused on that task. And I'm not mulling over how my relationships are going or thinking about how I'm going to do this or that. So I really like the sort of the menial, mindless, I call them, jobs where your mind is free and it's like, wow, I can just think about anything because my body's on automatic pilot. Like mowing lawns is perfect. Just, for that kind of stuff. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I get that point, but it's nice to have it in sections.
Small quantities,
Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a balance.
If that's your 8 hours a day or
For
12
sure.
hours a day like you were doing before sometimes, that's a little too much,
I got a text from one of my coworkers at the warehouse I'm from. They did 75 hours in 5 days. That's a grind.
5 days, wow.
That's a grind. That's 15-hour days, So, I mean, the money's good because you get double time after 11-hour days. But you're there. When you hit that 11-hour mark, you've already done 3 hours of overtime.
Totally. And there's an interesting, I don't know if we've talked about this before or not, but it's something I think about a lot. There's also the flip side of that, which is making creative pursuits your full-time gig, which has always been kind of like a mental struggle to me because there have been several times where I was like, I'm really going to try to be a full-time professional comedian, and then the more I start to try to do that, the more I get bogged down in it and it becomes my grind, and then I start hating it. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm starting to hate the thing that I used to do for fun, and then I start backing away from trying to do it more. And then I back away too much, and then I don't have enough of it. And there's a weird balance in there somewhere
There's a
that
threshold
I've been always trying to find.
you need to push through. That's called getting through the mud. It's okay, now you've seen the negative sides of it. Do you still really like it? It's like being in a relationship with someone. Of course, they're going to have their best foot forward, and you're going to see them at their best. And then when they're not, then you got to kind of, because everything's got two sides to it.
Totally.
It's can you live with the negative side?
Right, exactly. And I don't think I can in that sense. Making it, I don't know. I think I don't have that much. To me, it almost feels, especially for something like comedy, which it doesn't have to feel this way, but for some reason, the times I've tried to do it in the past, it has felt frivolous. And then I start feeling like I'm putting all this energy and emotional stuff into something that really doesn't matter. And I think that's why I gravitated towards social work, is that it feels like something that's meaningful. And then it's I don't know. There's just something about it that's even if I'm doing something that's not necessarily that meaningful in the moment, I feel like I'm contributing to society in a positive way. And sometimes, but I also think having said that, the comedy is like contributing to society in a positive way.
Right.
I love comedy, and
Right.
I probably get most of my personal
You're also
joy
providing
from other people
almost like a
providing
civil
comedy.
service. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but for some reason, when I start doing it too much, I'm like, I'm just poop and fart joking my way through life. Like, what am I really doing?
If you're getting paid for it, do it. That's what I'd say. But then again, if you like some people,
I can't jive with getting paid. Just getting paid to do something isn't enough for me personally.
I've heard, like, I've talked to a musician about, he doesn't want to even go mainstream because once he goes mainstream, he gets paid, and he doesn't want to be that puppet. I was like, really?
Oh, yeah.
But you're really good at what you do. Why not get paid for what you do? You know what I'm
As
saying?
long as you're not compromising what you do because of someone else, and especially not your fan base.
Right.
You know, you'll do nothing more than tick people off if you start changing up your sound.
Right.
Or they. I think that your fan base can kind of tell that you're kind of selling out, if you will. You know, that'll scream across whatever it is you're trying
And
to
there's
put out.
like a mentality, like, for example, a lot of times I'll mention to people like, oh yeah, I do comedy, and then their first
Say something
question,
funny.
I know, well yeah, that's their first like, ooh, do a joke, and then I'm like, I don't do jokes, and then they're like, where do you perform? And I go, well, like right now, if someone asked me that, I'd say, well, I do a podcast and I'm doing some stuff around town, but I don't get paid for it, and then they immediately, their idea about what it means to be a comedian changes, because if you don't do it for money, it's not real.
Right.
And to me, I'm
You must
like,
not be doing it very well, then,
well, I'm
right?
still a comedian, and I do a lot of comedic things, and I consider myself to be a comedian.
Well, see, now there's a distinction. You say you're identifying with comedian versus doing comedic things.
Right.
So I would think that one should.
But if you are a comedian and you don't do comedic things, you're a pretty poor comedian.
I would say that you're not a comedian.
Right.
I would say
Right, that's what I'm
don't
saying.
identify with the
But I'm
stereotype.
identifying with the label, and so,
Sure.
like, because, and the reasons are, like, I do comedic things. Like, I perform in
Right.
different venues, and,
Right.
but not for pay and not consistently. And so then there's a weird, like, well, like, oh, well, you said you're a comedian, and I'm imposing what I think that means on that.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know what I
Their
mean?
own experience of comedians. They just
Yeah,
apply
and I
it.
just don't think there's you're not a musician like you're saying of your friend.
Right.
Well, if you don't get paid for it, then like why don't you get paid for it? But he's still a musician.
Right.
And
He
doing something.
still performs. He still
You know?
he cuts.
Okay.
He performs. Yeah.
But even if he didn't perform, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like to me, I think you are like it. Like the process of it is as important as the product. I think if all I did was like write jokes and think of funny movie ideas and put them in a drawer and do nothing, I still would identify with the comedian label.
Well, okay, speaking of labels, I had a discussion with an individual about being a Christian. And he used the metaphor, okay, well, if you're a Marine, if you call yourself a Marine, then you've done all these certain things. But if you call yourself a Christian, have you done all those same certain things, or are you just proclaiming yourself something? And I guess the argument being is you're not a Christian unless you do X, Y, and Z.
You meet the criteria, or
Right.
or
And so people are trying to.
You've done the
If you're gonna,
checklist.
give yourself a label, then you have to,
I
meet
know,
all
but
these
who
standards.
decides what the standard is? I think the individual does. And if I, like, for example, like your ethnic identity, if I think my ethnic identity is that I'm a Tri-Citian, and I really identify with being from the Tri-Cities, and that's where I get a lot of my culture. To the outside world, they go, oh, but that's not an ethnic group. And I go, well, I think
Culturally,
if I did
it's
this,
where
I mean,
you
I
spend
don't
most of your time.
necessarily do that. But I argue about calling myself an American, and people say that has like a context that really I'm an Irish
Call
American.
myself an earthling.
But I'm-
myself.
yeah, that's the thing. I think-
which is where I'm trying to get at. We shouldn't
Right.
identify with those definitions.
But I don't think we shouldn't identify with them. I think you are allowed to self-define whatever that means for you. So if I say, well, what's important to me is my identity as a person who was born and raised in the Tri-Cities, then that is what I identify with, and so I can give myself whatever label I want.
I thought you were from the dry shitties.
I am from the Tri-Cities.
Oh,
That's what we call it.
see, I'm all confused now.
I am a dry shittian.
I could identify with that.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think, like, for example, something as a Christian, that means very different things to
Sure.
lots of different people. And people are quick to go, oh, well, you're not giving your word the same meaning I give it, so you're wrong because you don't have my standard.
Right.
But I think we only can say, comedian means this to me, and therefore I am a comedian. And then, and if you don't understand the other person's definition of it, you know.
Well, you could kind of draw the line at college degrees as well. You can't say you're a lawyer if you haven't passed the bar. You can't say you're
people say they're social workers who don't have degrees in social work.
Well, but that's sort of the
crazy.
Saying
you don't have a degree in social work. You're not a social worker. You just work in social services. That doesn't make you a social worker.
Right.
Anyway,
and
I
not
have beefs
even
with that.
Sure, but it's still a subjective sort of thing because especially when you talk about art or being an artist, because.
Totally.
It's like I haven't gone to art school, but I consider myself an artist.
Right.
Just because that's what I engage in. Just because I don't have someone that's showed me how to do that.
Right.
Which,
well, and the only reason lawyer is different than that is that it has been professionalized, and it assumes a level of licensure. So, like, you're a doctor. Back in the day, people would just call themselves doctors if they walked around, taking your temperature. But now it's become professionalized,
and I
think it's good that artist hasn't become professionalized because art is by nature,
also
you shouldn't have to have a degree
inherently
to be an artist.
Limits access to that market.
It does. That's what I'm saying. It should be more egalitarian. Like more people should consider themselves artists.
And doctors and lawyers, if that's the case.
And social work is in that gray area where technically you do need a degree in social work to call yourself a social worker because it implies licensure, but people call themselves whatever. They just say, I'm a counselor. And I'm like, what's your degree in? Education. Oh, you're not a counselor then. Sorry. They're like, well, we took some psychology. No. That's cool. Good for you, but I wouldn't
that's
pay
kind of
money
another thing.
to
It's like
give
everybody
therapy.
at my work thinks they can do my job.
Oh,
it's like because I'm in and out of there so quick, and it seems like I don't do anything.
I don't work with you. I don't think.
I know. Why is it? It's like we should trade when they see me leaving real early, or it's like I could do. It's like no, you have no clue what goes into separating artwork for T-shirts. You can't.
My wife does.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. Just to assume that I can do what you do.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, maybe you could after a couple of years.
I know.
Whatever.
I had a coworker
it takes some skill.
Who was talking about how I shouldn't need a master's degree to do my job, and I was like, yeah, except that you learn stuff in graduate school that's really important. And she was like, no, I don't think you do. And I was like, well, you didn't go to master to graduate school.
Sure,
I did.
sure, yeah.
And having gone to it, I know that before I went, I did not know all that was important to know as after. Like, I feel it was very valuable. And if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be able to do the kinds of things like having someone involuntarily committed. You have to have a really extensive knowledge of what that means and mental health and all these things to do that responsibly. If I'm just some person who hasn't really studied mental health, I don't think I should be able to take your rights away or your rights away to have you put in a mental hospital.
Right, there are dire consequences for the like judges and policemen.
Right.
Totally, like you do things that affect other people's lives, and I feel like that responsibility is like really
it's all under the social umbrella usually too. But sorry, we kind of got away from Scott there.
It happens. That's good. That's good though. I like the way our conversations tend to segue.
Sure. Oh yeah.
When we were driving in this morning, speaking of, I get distracted by shiny things pretty easily. There's a line of state patrol.
Laser pointer.
Right.
Sorry.
We're driving in, and I happened to notice three on the opposite side of the road on I-5. 3 state patrols lined up behind a crashed car. Now the state patrols weren't immediately; they were spaced out quite a bit, and there's 2 cops or state patrolmen where they looked like they were affixing themselves, like straightening themselves up. So what I'm assuming is we came up on the aftermath of a pit maneuver. Yeah,
what's that about?
Where the cops, there's a high-speed chase.
Oh, okay, they trap them basically.
Well, what they do is they get behind, like they get the front of the car behind the rear of the pursuit car, and then
roll them, right?
Yeah, you kind of nudge your nose into their back tire, and it does it's a 180 the car, and there was definitely some barrier damage to this other car, and I'm not quite sure what the whole front end was all crushed up, and It was kind of neat. I was like, wow, that's... And I'm trying to point to my wife, and she's like, la, 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 talking. And it's like, I didn't even know. She goes, oh, what are these cops doing here?
You're like, I'm trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
Have you ever hung out with any cops, you guys?
Because
I have a few good friends who are cops, and they are the most fun people to hang out with because they have I think I have good stories from work. They have like 10,000 times better stories.
We were, a really good friend of mine, a really good friend of mine was up here from North Carolina. He's actually a detective.
Oh, cool.
And he was, we haven't seen him for like 20 years, and he came up for a visit, and we're sitting in our living room, and he perks up all of a sudden. And what was happening, there's a homeless person living in our neighborhood in Ording, of all places, which is so country. Like, we have one homeless person.
Aww.
Yeah. So, and then the police...
If he gets a house, you're like, no, I'm sorry.
There's so
you are our homeless person.
Yeah. He got it through affirmative action.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I didn't even know what the guy looked like. My buddy seen him. He said he perks up, and this is his cop instinct picking up, and he perks up, and he's like, "There's police officers running through your yard," and I was like, "What?"
Crazy.
So the entire Ording PD were running through our neighborhood, and so they were chasing the homeless man around our neighborhood, and we have one of our neighbors. He's just graduated high school, and for his graduation gift to himself, he bought an AR-15.
What's that?
It's an assault rifle.
One of the best guns you can get.
Crazy.
Pretty much.
And he's out there standing in the garage with his AR-15.
For a homeless guy? What did he do? He doesn't even have a home.
I walked over, I was like, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to help the cops. I said, they are pumped up. They're going to see you with this gun.
Oh my gosh.
And you're not,
totally.
you're not even part of the neighborhood watch. Yeah. Put it away.
Be cool, man.
If you want to help him, just tackle the guy. He's not armed.
Yeah.
He's homeless.
He's homeless.
Homeless is harmless.
It's true.
Yeah. Unless they got a mattress outside your house.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That, by the way, it rained and that took care of that problem.
I don't know if you watch the South Park homeless episode.
Yeah.
They have a different...
I watched South Park for like 3 hours last night. I was sewing and I just had it on. It was so great. I've seen every episode like 100 times. I know more about South Park than I know about any other subject on Earth.
When are they going to come out with new ones?
I don't know. They've gone more than a year since last season.
Yeah. Maybe they're unofficially retired.
You know, every single year people think they're going to retire. I thought they were going to retire when they won the Tony for Book of Mormon, and they were like, nope, we're good.
Yeah.
This doesn't take that much effort. We can still do... I mean, they only work like 6 weeks a year.
Yeah.
So, and to me...
I bet you they work a little bit more than that, but they...
No, they pull out episodes in 6 days.
The last season, though, they were really
They did a documentary about it.
I was just really disappointed.
A lot of them were bad. They had a couple episodes in the last couple seasons that I think are the best of all of them. Like, they've had their best episodes, but their batting average is very low.
The Heroes one is when I thought they were going to kind of wrap it all up.
I thought so, too,
It seemed like they were kind of building for a...
And when Stan's, spoiler alert, Stan's parents got divorced. That episode, I was like, this feels like this could be
they're kind of winding up
the end thing of like, oh, well, Stan's family breaks up and that's the end of South Park, you know?
Oh, did they do it like almost like a Sopranos type ending, or no?
They have an
kind
ending.
of, and I really thought they were going to, okay, another spoiler alert here, but when Mr. Hat met...
Jennifer Lopez.
Thank you. Yeah,
totally.
That was like, they're really starting to wrap stuff up.
Oh,
that was
it did.
Fun
I gotta say, speaking of South Park, I think my favorite episode is when they killed Chef.
Oh, that was a good one. We talked about them in our last episode, I think. My favorite episode is the breast cancer, where Wendy fights Cartman.
Oh, nice.
The best episode. You should watch it 6 times in a row.
Actually, no,
I don't think I could come up with
I take it back.
Other than the movie, it's tough.
The movie's great.
I take it back. My favorite episode is the Lesbos.
The Scissor Sisters?
Totally. That's a good
where they
one.
do the Spartan.
Totally. I mean,
the
I'm
Lord of the
a
Rings
Cartman
is
fan.
up there.
The Lord of the Rings is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm a Cartman fan, so, you gotta go Scott Tenorman Must Die. You gotta go Butters in from the bomb shelter to go to Casa La Bonita.
For sure.
Anything where Cartman is, even the hippie hunting one where the drum circles.
He dresses up like a robot.
One. Yeah, Osimo.
Osimo.
Anyone where it is Cartman being a sociopath is me just sitting there going like, I love him so much. Which is why like the Wendy one, like Wendy's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. He's like trying to get out of it the whole episode. She's like, no, you're a jerk. I'm gonna kick your ass. And like he keeps me like F you, bitch. F you. And then turns around like, please don't fight me, please. Please don't fight me.
I know what movie they referenced too. That was from 3 O'Clock High. You ever seen that movie?
Wait, who's in it?
Oh, it's an older movie. It's from the 80s.
Yeah, isn't it like a... I've totally
this guy,
seen it.
My Bodyguard or something?
No,
it's not. It's actually, it's really funny.
It's a comedy.
I couldn't tell you who's in it.
Yeah, really. I can't think of it either.
They're not really relevant today.
No, they're not. But wasn't it like a bunch of black comedians, though?
No.
Is that the movie? Oh, I'm thinking of something different.
It's about... Okay, in case anybody hasn't seen it, spoiler alerts. It's about this guy.
I haven't seen it.
They're talking about the new student coming to school, and he's got this, and everybody's talking about how he killed somebody, and blah, 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 and this guy pulls up in this beat up Camaro, and he gets out, and he's just like this total like badass, but he's like literally quiet, don't want to talk to anybody. He's just like this. Nobody wants to friend him or nothing. Nobody wants to. He's just got this persona, like, just don't fuck with me type thing. And then he's pretty much just like the bad guy element. And then the other guy, oh man, I wish I knew his name. He was in a bunch of movies in the 80s.
Dylan?
It could have been. He basically makes the mistake of touching him in the bathroom, and then at the end of that, he says, "We're fighting at 3 o'clock today."
Oh, okay.
So the whole entire movie is him trying to get out of it, and he ends up robbing the school store, and he hires the football hero to beat the guy up, and then the guy totally takes out the football hero in the hole.
That's funny.
Yeah,
you should check that out.
Yeah, 3 o'clock high.
This week, guys, as I said last week, I was going to see World's End. I did see The World's End with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and Edgar Wright. And it had, like, all of the other people in it were really famous British comedians from different things. Like, the guy from In America, who's actually Irish, but did a really good British thing. He was, like, the third, because there were 5 of them, which the whole... Did you guys see this at all? Nobody saw it? Well, like the premise of it is there's like 5 friends from high school who kind of have a reunion thing to get together and do a pub crawl. And so the 5 of them are all people that it's like, oh him, like really well-known comedians from different, like, I've never seen them all together. So it was kind of cool. Like the guy from In America is like a straight up dramatic, like really good dramatic actor. And he was really great. So anyway, I really liked it. I have to say though that of the 3, it's a little forgettable. And a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes is a little high for it.
Right.
Okay.
I give it like a 75. It just felt like I totally enjoyed it.
Sort of like Darjeeling Limited?
A little bit,
Where you can just kind of...
Like, in 5 years, it won't be, I can't believe you haven't seen The World's End, you have to see it. It'll be, I remember that movie, but did you see Hot Fuzz?
Right.
Like, it just didn't have enough, like excitement to it, but it was totally enjoyable. But to me, I was just kind of like, okay, that was nice.
Was it a lot of recycled jokes from the previous movies?
No, it just wasn't as... It had some good fight scenes, it just didn't have that like sparkle that the other ones had, but it was totally good. It was fine, but it just wasn't like as great as everyone else seems to think it is. I kind of was like, I kind of liked Kick-Ass 2 better. Like I was more like talking about it and like, man, did you see that part? And this part was cool. Like I was more excited and will probably be more excited to see Kick-Ass 2 when it's on TV in a year than when World's End is. If they were both on TV at the same time, I'd watch Kick-Ass 2.
Oh, right.
That is even though they're both like similarly okay. To me, it was like Kick-Ass 2 is a little more fun, and World's End was kind of like, meh. That's fine. I'm okay with it. There's some stuff in it that's like, that was fun. but not as a whole. It was only okay.
Is it kind of like that movie where you watch it and you're like, all I had to do is just string all the previews together and the movie's nice.
Kinda. Yeah. The plot has no surprises, but like there's some good comedic moments and the actors are all fun to watch.
So there's
had
there not been so much fanfare and hoopla behind it, had you liked it better?
If it wasn't Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, if it was just two different actors, it would only be playing at the SIFF Theater, and it would have like a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, so
it's total fan base power. Like really, if it was just generic actors doing the same kinds of performances, it wouldn't. And even that kind of says something about it that I think like. They weren't doing anything that someone else couldn't do in a way where it's like, well, it was Nick Frost, and so I'm like, oh, I love him, he's so great. But really, it could have been chubby British guy number 5, and it still would have been an okay movie. It just wasn't, it didn't have that, like, sparkle, is what I'm saying. So, it was okay. You should go see it. Totally enjoyable afternoon, but not,
so what was the flavor of ice cream?
Run out. They didn't even. I won't spoil it, but it's in it. But there was no flavor. I mean, there probably was a flavor, but it was not in.
They didn't really draw anything to it.
It was a kind of a funny joke. Yeah. It was a good moment, but I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But I don't remember what flavor it was.
All right. So
there you go.
There you go.
But you were saying that you watched?
Right.
Spaced.
I watched Spaced on our conversation last week, and I could not.
And Spaced, of course, is the TV show from BBC that Nick Frost and Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg came together on.
And it was, I didn't realize it was out that long ago. It was like 99.
Oh, yeah.
So
it
when I watched
predates
it,
their whole Shaun of the Dead series.
I don't really understand why it didn't go farther than it did. Just 2 seasons.
Awesome.
And
I think it seriously was a Freaks and Geeks thing where it was 2 years too early, and it kind of shaped the genre, but it wasn't late enough for the genre to have an audience base.
Right.
Because like we had compared it last week, I think, to Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. I think it's better.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory is a good show, but like it's a popcorn version of a genre that was already established, and so that's why it's so popular at this moment.
The artist that lived in the bottom of the house.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, that was amazing.
What is his name?
Brian.
Brian.
He's so creepy. Did you watch the whole series?
I watched.
There's only like 10 episodes.
14 episodes.
14,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
I think I did it in a week too.
Yeah, I did. I marathon. It was me, Keegan and I, my son. We watched it. He got it all. But he likes that kind of humor too. And
Totally.
I like the way it referenced movies. Like they had the Matrix episode, and then they would always constantly referencing episode 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's a huge like disdain for now what's his name? The guy, Star Wars guy, George Lucas.
Oh yeah,
there's
George Lucas.
Hatred, a seething hatred for him. Just like
it's good, huh?
Yeah, it was amazing.
I
was
knew
like,
you would like it.
It
seemed right up your alley.
It was.
Yeah, and actually, I learned about it through Netflix. I was like, why is this a 5-star? I've never even seen it. I barely even heard about Simon.
I was actually sad when I got to the left-hand final episode. I'll watch it again. I will watch it again.
Oh yeah, it definitely holds.
I really liked it. Like it's legitimately funny and has the love story is so sweet and like weird and
I love the daughter of the apartment manager. You never see her and she just kind of flies around.
The apartment manager is brilliant. Like, she's so funny to me.
Yeah, with her cigarettes.
Oh my gosh, she's a genius.
To me, was like she was almost like they found a woman that fit. She almost looked like.
They just found a scary old chain smoker at the.
Well, like a Monty Python style woman.
Yeah,
she was very Monty Python, and then and she's like totally in love with the guy in the basement.
I even love how like her mouth does all that weird.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I was a sprinter.
Oh Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Cool, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I'm going to Bumbershoot tomorrow. Bumbershoot.
Bumbershoot.
And I realize people don't emphasize the second B, that it just sounds like Bumbershoot, and everyone's cool with that, but I try to emphasize the second B in Bumbershoot.
I did not realize.
Bumbershoot.
It's
presently going on in the Seattle Center today.
I was a young adult when I found out what a Bumbershoot was.
It's an umbrella, right?
Yeah.
The only reason I know that is that I've listened.
Look at any Bumbershoot poster, you'll see one.
Yeah, totally.
But
I'm going tomorrow because Doug Loves Movies is having a live podcast, and also Comedy Bang Bang is having a live podcast tomorrow.
I recommend something if you've never been.
Yes.
Go there like 5 hours early and do nothing but sit in line for it. Otherwise, you will not get in.
No, here's the thing with the comedy shows. No, well, listen.
Okay.
You can get tickets for them now at the beginning of the day, and they only let in ticketed people to the indoor venues.
Because if there's anything you
I
want to do
would not
specifically,
be
that's
going.
all you're going to do.
Yeah, no, I would not be going if that wasn't the case, because Doug Loves Movies goes to Parlor Live once a year anyway, and I might as well just go get a ticket.
Nice. Okay.
No, I'm just going because of Comedy Bang Bang, and I think I have a suspicion that Patton Oswalt will be on Doug Loves Movies.
He likes Seattle.
Yeah.
Is that
because he's here. He's doing his own show, but I think he'll be on Doug Loves Movies, and I want to see him on Doug Loves Movies.
Well, the sole reason why I love Comedy Bang Bang is
Reggie Watts.
Reggie Watts. Yeah, thank you.
I love Scott Aukerman. I think he's a genius.
Okay, so
and they're doing the podcast version, not the TV show version, but Reggie Watts will be there.
Nice.
And so they're doing kind of a hybrid, because the difference, the podcast does, comedians come on doing impressions. So like they'll have, Paul F. Tompkins doing Werner Herzog, and whoever doing Cake Boss, and Nick Frost does all these or not Nick Frost, I've been saying that too much. Nick Kroll does all these really funny characters.
Oh yeah, he's
and
funny.
so they're going to do a lot of that, but Reggie Watts will also be there, so he's going to do his music thing. So
do they do a Q&A also at the end, or they?
I think there is a Q&A in there like somewhere.
A variety show-ish type of
try and get a plug. Try and get your hand up.
I'm not going to the Q&A. Well, they're in different venues. There's a podcast show, which is not audience participation; it's just a show.
Okay.
And then they also have a Q&A stage where they're doing.
I'm used to the Kevin Smith. He always includes a Q&A in all of his podcasts when he does live shows. Yeah.
No, these are just. I mean, I would not anticipate there being audience participation. But anyway, so I'm going to those, and I made my sign for Doug Loves Movies, my name tag, which is Jurassic Peg.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool, man.
And I'll show you. I drew a T-Rex.
That's cool.
And made a big sign because I'm dorky. We're not going to try to sit close. I just thought it would be fun to bring a sign. But I'll post the picture of my sign.
Awesome, Peg. That is so cool.
I spent yesterday evening while I was watching South Park. Yeah, I'll post it on our Facebook page. That I drew a little T-Rex. And then I made one for my special friend who's coming with me, and his favorite movie is Hackers.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay.
River Phoenix?
No, you're thinking of...
That's Angelina Jolie.
It's Angelina Jolie.
And,
the guy she was married to for a hot minute. I can't remember his name, but the main guy in Hackers, she married for like 6 months.
Right.
No, before Billy Bob.
Oh.
Anyway, he loves Hackers, so I put a picture of the movie Hackers, and I wrote... Aaron loves Hackers, and then at the bottom I wrote, and feels a deep sense of shame about it. Because I was asking him, I was like, what's your favorite movie? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, what is your favorite movie? He's like, well, it's Hackers, but don't put Hackers. And I was like, I'm putting Hackers. He's like, put High Fidelity. And I was like, no, that's not your favorite movie. That's a cool movie that you like. He loves it. I told him that means he's...
The guy from Short Circuit is in there too.
Nice.
Yeah, totally. He plays the bad guy.
Yeah, Indian scientist.
The Indian guy who's Johnny Five's friend. He plays the bad guy, and he has like really gross long hair and wears like velvet jackets. It's a terrible movie, and he loves it. And he's like, it inspired me to be a computer programmer. And so I wrote, he loves Hackers and consequently feels a deep sense of shame. I wrote it like right at the bottom. which I think is really funny.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, so we're going to go, and I'm going to carry around big cardboard signs all day just to go to Dugwell's Movies. But really, I'm just hanging out with my friend who's bringing her baby for the daytime, and then if all I do is go to Dugwell's Movies, that's fine with me.
Good.
So I'm just going to chill.
Usually they're just way too many people there.
Yeah.
Getting around is just a nightmare.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting to see a lot of stuff because I don't want to hassle with it.
Good.
I'm just going to kind of go with the flow,
Could
and then
you
at 5
walk down
ditch.
to the monorail and get over there?
Yeah, I can walk there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely we're going to brunch in the morning, and then we'll probably take a taxi over.
Cool.
But it's so close to my neighborhood that
I guess I don't know if you want your
it takes
location known, but
No, well, I've said that I live in Capitol Hill.
yeah, okay.
It's like a 5-minute bus ride or a 30-minute walk from my house. There, because it's straight downhill. Home, I don't ever walk home.
Yeah.
I tried walking home once, and it's too long and all uphill, and I just was like, forget it, I'm getting a taxi.
Climbing a small mountain.
Yeah, but I go over there a lot because I have the free movie pass to the SIFF theater, and so I hit that movie theater quite a bit. I actually haven't gone in, the last movie I saw there was This Is the End. Because I haven't been to a lot of movies this summer. I gotta say, I've been really busy.
Yeah,
In a
and it's
good
been
way.
nice out too. People just tend not to go to
That
movies.
is not at all my reason
Really?
for not going to the movies.
Oh.
I have never gone, either I go to the movies or go to something enjoying the weather. That's never happened.
Oh.
I would probably equally. I just haven't had time. I've been boxing and doing.
But you like the
stuff.
theater popcorn, the atmosphere element of seeing a movie. It's
do.
not sitting on the couch, or it's not.
Nope, it's way better to go to the movies to me.
So you
There's
get
actually
popcorn?
might go today. Sometimes.
I love getting popcorn right
Oh,
now.
my
Often
wife
I will
has to have
sneak in
popcorn
some
if we go,
stuff.
so
You guys need to go to the Redmond Theater. Here's why. I'm going to pitch the iPick in Redmond for all of our listeners. $12 a ticket, not any more than the regular thing. You get an assigned seat with a power recliner and free popcorn.
What?
It is totally worth
Where is
50
this?
cents more. It's in Redmond Town Center.
It's actually less because by the time you're done with popcorn,
I know.
you got it's
popcorn
$20.
doubles the
And
price
if
of
you
your
don't
experience.
get the reserved seats, I think it's like $10.50 for the other seats, but they're not movie theater seats. They're like couches.
Oh.
It is so worth it. And you get a little blanket and a pillow, and it
you're kidding.
reclines. And the theaters are really small. And if you go opening weekend, it's always half empty, so you don't have to deal with the crowd. It is even from Capitol Hill to drive over there,
Is that the
totally
same
worth
one?
it.
Same one that you serve beer in too?
Yeah, and if you want cocktails, you can get dinner and cocktails served at your seat
so
in the movie.
What's the theater called again?
It's the IPIC iPick
iPick.
Redmond.
Okay.
But even if you don't get dinner, if you're just going to the movies, it's worth it for the free popcorn and the nice seats.
Right.
You know, you recline.
So that was a
screens
plane
are great.
coming over. I guess
That
we're
was a
at the
plane.
hangar.
Yeah, we're in the
The
flight
Hangar
path
Cafe,
flowing field.
Totally.
Yeah.
So that's my pitch for the Redmond iPick. And they have a nice lounge, and the food is really good, and the cocktails are great.
Nice.
But even if you're just going for like a, X movie on whatever weekend, it's worth it just for the nice seats.
I think where me and my wife are going to go next.
You should, for sure.
How do we not?
I know.
Yeah.
I thought the one like that in Chicago is like $18 for a ticket, and so it's always a little like even just for the ticket it's more, and so I was expecting it to be the same here, but when I found out it was $12 a ticket, I was like, forget it, that's the only movie theater I'm ever going to.
That's not bad. That's really not bad. When you do
Yeah.
you get the free popcorn. Then the drinks you got to get.
Yeah.
You got to buy the drinks. Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
first run movies then too?
Yep.
Or are they?
I saw World's End there and
Oh,
Kick-Ass
wow.
2 there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Is the screen nice and big? I mean, it's theaters.
It's
How's
a-
the sound?
Good. Really good.
Okay, cool.
It's a great theater. The only little distracting part is there are waiters and waitresses walking around periodically.
Sure.
And so they'll come up and be like, would you like anything else? And you're like, go away, the movie's on. But other than that, if that doesn't bother you, it is totally worth it.
Right.
So, and I even think if you told your waiter before the movie, like, I'm not going to order anything, you can just be cool with me, they'd probably leave you alone.
The chairs are nice and big.
Oh, they're huge.
'Cause-
You can curl up in them, and they recline. They're like
Oh,
big.
man.
They're big
We
suede
might have to go
armchairs.
check it out.
Nice.
And
We're
they
gonna
power
have to
recline, which they kind of make farty sounds when you do it. It's like squeak. So it's really funny to like in the middle of the movie
Nice.
make farty sounds with
I don't know
your.
if they vibrated. guess that's a little bit much.
Yeah, like you get the massage.
So get a full body massage while the movie's going.
Oh my gosh, I would just pay rent there. I'd just move in.
Hook up to an IV with some protein.
When we were living over in Thailand, we had something similar to that, but because everything. You had to choose your seat. I wasn't used to that, actually, choosing a seat.
Almost like going to a play.
Yeah. And it's like, what do you mean where I want to sit? Don't you just buy a ticket and you just kind of fight over where you want to sit? And you can see where it's been sold out and stuff like that. And they also do a beer. And now you didn't get free popcorn, but they did have flavored popcorn over there. Like I always get the strawberry popcorn.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, in Chicago, one of the Regals there tried to do assigned seating. They did like a pilot program where certain movies they did assigned seating, and basically like my friend Ryan and I went, and they were like, we're trying this thing out. We just want to see what people think about it, and we both were like, do not do this. Like well, you can pay more to sit in the seat you want to sit in, so you can either just go and chance your luck, or you can pay $1 more. And I was like, no, don't do it. And we just emphatically said this is terrible. Because at a regular movie theater, I was like, I would not like that.
It used to be that way, where you'd be assigned seating, but it just
like back in the movie, like the film house era.
Yeah,
but that was when people wore tuxedos to the movie theater.
It was a night out. Yeah.
If I'm in my sweatpants, I want to sit where I want.
There you go.
Because and it happens to me all the time because I go to a lot of plays. You show up and there's people sitting in your seats, and then you have to have the conversation where it's like, you're in my seats, and then it's like some old guy with a hearing aid, and he's like, no, I'm not. And then you're like, because this exact thing happened to me at a play last year, where it was like we were kind of cutting it a little close, so the thing was about to start, and I was like, it was the oldest people on planet Earth, and I was like, just tell me where your seats are, and we will go sit in them. And then they were like, we're in your seats, and then they're moving, and I'm like, no, stay where you're at. It doesn't matter. Like, just tell me where you are at, so we don't steal someone else's, and then we get in this retarded round robin. And then they just got up and left, and then we were like, so then we sat down, and then there's the single oldest people in the place just wandering around looking for their seats, and then I'm like, I didn't want you to move. I was relinquishing my seats to you. And then they did this thing because it was like the Seattle Rep Theater. The guy came out and was like, it's our 25th anniversary or some 30th or whatever, and it's like, raise your hand if you've been here for the whole 25 years. And I look over and the little old couple raises their hand, and I was like, oh, we totally I felt so bad, and I was like, this is what happens when you have the seats assigned. Then it's like a hassle where I don't care where I sit, just give me a chair and leave me alone. Like, I'm cool. But
they've probably been sitting in that section forever.
And they're like, but this is where we sat for 30 years. And I'm like, cool, I will go to yours.
I think it's more of those, people just can't be wrong about something, too. You know
Maybe,
what I mean?
but they weren't even fighting me on it.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean.
Honestly,
we lost the game. We need to go,
I know, and I was
whatever.
like, no, you're okay. It was such a mess, and I was just like, why didn't we just... But it was sold out, and I didn't know where we were. It was a mess. Anyway. But, so, the whole point of that was, go to the Redman iPick Theater.
Sounds pretty cool.
Totally. And then I also wanted to make a quick plug that tickets have gone on sale for the Seattle Women's Chorus Halloween concert. Hallows in the Cathedral is the name of it, which is where I will be performing, singing and doing comedy skits between, I just called them skits, that's my pet peeve, sketches, between songs.
Would you say?
An interlude?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Or intermission, I guess.
It's not intermission, but there will be an intermission.
Okay.
But we are sort of like an interlude.
How much are the tickets?
They, right now, if you buy them, well, this will post on Tuesday, so it'll be over. If you buy them before Tuesday, you get like 10% off.
Okay.
But minimum, I think it was $23 for the cheapest, and then the most expensive are $49, I think. So that's the range. It's a really small venue. There's 4 performances.
They're balcony seats?
So I don't think so, because it's a cathedral.
Okay.
It's like an Anglican cathedral in Capitol Hill, St. Mark's. But it's going to be a really fun show, and so if anybody wants to buy tickets, I will be the prominently displayed witch. I'm playing a witch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you dress up, or is that frowned upon?
I think actually we're going to have
like a
costume
nice.
performance.
Okay.
There was some talk of doing a midnight show, but that hasn't appeared yet, so I don't know if they're going to do it like we're going to add it later as like kind of a like more Halloween-y, like fun audience dresses up. We do some goofier things, kind of a show. But the ones that are played out are, it's a lot of choral singing, so if you're not into choirs, then it's not going to be that exciting. But it also will have me doing a lot of comedy. And the music is really good. So
awesome.
I dig it.
Is it Halloween-themed material?
All of the songs are about witches except for one, which to me, being the weird person that I am, bothers me. But it's the most beautiful song in the thing, which is we're doing a mashup of Defying Gravity, which is the witch-themed song from Wicked, and Joanna from Sweeney Todd. Now, Sweeney Todd has no witches in it.
Nope.
Has nothing to do with witches. But the mashup of them is beautiful. And singing Joanna, which is like the most gorgeous song ever written, in the cathedral with 300 women is going to be amazing. But that song has nothing to do with witches.
No.
It's kind of an eerie musical, but it's not in any way witchy.
Well, Halloweenish still, though.
Yeah, it's steampunk, I would call it.
Yeah, true.
But the rest of them are expressly like they're either about like welcoming death or exploring like one of them is Samhain, which is like the Wiccan season of their like winter season where you're like reflecting on death and stuff, and like all these songs that are really like expressly about witch culture, and some of them are goofy, like we're doing Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, we're doing that old black magic, so there's some jazz.
The theme to Bewitched?
Yeah.
No. Is there a theme to Bewitched?
Yeah.
I don't know, just do like a...
No, that's I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
What is the Bewitched one? Oh, it's like strings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a harp.
And she's like flying through the
air.
Yeah. Anyway. It'll be a really fun show. The music, I think, is fantastic.
It has that tinkle note,
Nice.
the note,
Yeah.
ding-a-ding-a-ling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you feel like coming, come. It'll be great. We're having one on my birthday, which is October 25th. So, that'll be good times.
Oh man, you got a great time of year for a birthday.
I know.
I like all the decorations.
It's right around my wife's birthday, too, which is the 22nd. So.
Totally. It's a good time of year to have a birthday. Because there's a lot of festivities going on.
Everybody's
so
ramping up for the holidays.
Yeah, so you kind of feel like the festivities are for you, but it's not as bad as Christmas where you feel like the attention is gone.
Right.
So it's enough of like a festive time to feel special, but not so much that you get lost. I like it.
Our son's birthday is December 11th, so he kind of gets lost in the Christmas shuffle a little bit.
That happens a lot.
We try and give him his own birthday, and try not to wrap it up, but he has fallen into the this is a combined gift because it's big. It's a big one. It's like
Totally.
Well, luckily I compete with Mother's Day, which not a lot of distinction there, other than.
If you're being called a mother.
Yeah. Well, it does fall on Mother's Day literally
It
sometimes.
does.
So, well, if it's Sunday, of course.
Yeah.
So.
It is really close there. And we have that trouble in our family, Rick and I do, about having Mom's birthday is super close to Mother's Day and Dad's birthday is super close to Father's Day. And so they
and
always
then their
get in the
anniversary is
shorts.
right in between.
So I always feel like we don't do a good job of really being
May.
like,
Here's your present for June.
Like, here's flowers, leave me alone.
If we do anything, goodness.
I know, we're terrible at stuff like that in our family.
I'm the same way.
We barely even call each other.
You know what? My family lives less than 10 miles away, and I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Well,
less than that. Yeah.
That's good.
Truth be told, that's a lot of reason why I do the podcast, is so I get to hang out with
I know,
friends,
we have a good time hanging out.
This is bonus. I'd do it anyway if it was just Scott and everything, but it's just bonus.
Yeah,
Definitely,
it definitely gives us some time to touch base.
It does. We look forward to it too, because like we were talking about, we get to see these really cool places, like the Hangar.
It is really cool.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Totally.
A propeller clock over there, which is neat.
They have some. Oh, that is really cool.
Literally a propeller. I thought I was looking for something that looked like a
small, like a fan. Yeah, no, it's like a full size
blade.
They're going all right.
So, one thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap up, because we're about out of time. Darius Alexander, who was on episode 9?
9, yeah.
He's a local musician. He sent us another song that we wanted to put up. It's called Can't Stop. It's featuring Johnny Salusa.
Yep.
And I listened to it. It's really fun. So we're going to put that on the end of the episode. You can find him. If you look at our Facebook page, we have a link to his thing. I'll put it up again.
Right.
To his Bandcamp site, I think it is.
Yeah, it's
where you can
it's
get
Darius,
his music.
DariusAlexander.org.
Oh, that's
and
right.
that links to everything. He's now on iTunes as well. He's got a single on iTunes, so it's very. Yeah, I like him. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Yeah.
So support him. He's a friend of the show, and enjoy his song that he gifted to us. And do you guys have any last words? Oh, well, you can't find Rick's website up right now because it got hacked.
Yeah, so. I've been hacked. I got some work to do to get out from underneath it. But
yeah, so if you go to rickentrop.com, you won't find him right now, but you will soon again.
You will soon see, though, a logo, which we're finalizing
the logos
really quickly
are amazing.
here.
They're coming
along. I'm excited about it.
It's taken every ounce of every fiber of my being not to post a spoiler on my Facebook page.
We're like 95% of the way there, I think. Just some last final touches, and we'll be good to go. It's really going well.
Yeah, and Rick did an awesome job on capturing kind of our, mojo in visual form. So I'm excited about it. I'm gonna get a T-shirt and a coffee mug, and a magnet for my fridge. I have a magnet collection, so it's not weird to get a magnet for me, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So
that'll be the fun. The other fun end of merchandising is getting what it's going to be on.
Totally. Cool. Well, thank you for listening. Please tell a friend. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on YouTube. Search From the Coffee Shop. I mean, if you found this episode, you can find the rest of them. So tell a friend, share a link, like us on Facebook. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at fromthecoffeeshoppodcast@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for listening. Huzzah!
Huzzah!